In this video, we're going to take a look at the creation of construction documents for an MEP project. To start with, I'm going to change some project information so that that information will show up in title blocks. I will go to the Manage tab, then Settings, and Project Information. Next, I can adjust the information in this dialog box, and I can put in a project issue date. I'll just leave the current date here. I can put in a project status. So we'll say this one is in design development. We'll put in a client name. We'll say that this is the Ascent School District. And then if I have an address, I can place that in here. But for this example, I'll skip past it. And we are just going to call this project Elementary School. And then we will give it a project number. Then click OK. If I take a look at my project browser, I can see that there are already several sheets in here. And we're going to begin by creating a new sheet to use as a cover sheet. I'll go to the View tab. Then in the Sheet Composition panel, I'll select New Sheet. I have a couple of templates available for me. I will choose the 22 by 34 horizontal, then click OK. And that will give me a new blank sheet. If we take a look at the title block, we can see that some of the project information was filled in. I would like to rename this sheet Cover Sheet, and I can do that just using the fields here in the title block itself. So I'm going to click a couple of times on the unnamed, and I'm going to call this Cover Sheet. And then same thing with the number here. I'll click on it, and I'm going to give it the number of CS-000. If you take a look at my project browser, we can see that it updated here as well. Next, I'm going to import a rendered image of the school. So I will go to the Insert tab, then Import Image. I'll browse to my class folder and find in the Images folder a school perspective image. Then I will click to place the image here. If I want to resize it, I can select the image and use the sizing handles. And then, of course, click away from it to deselect it. I'm going to activate my M002 HVAC details sheet, and you can once again see that the project information transferred over. In addition to project fields, there's also sheet fields. For example, the drawn by here just currently says author. I'm going to change that to my initials here. That is only going to affect the current sheet. You can see if I return back to the cover sheet, it did not affect this one. So that is a per sheet property. I'm going to add another sheet. So once again, I'll return to the View tab and select New Sheet. I'm going to use the 30 by 42 once again and click OK. And that will give me this new blank sheet. And previously I had renamed the sheet and the number in the actual title block. This time I'm going to do the renaming it in the project browser. I'll right click on the new sheet and select Rename. That will give me a dialog box where I can change the number and the name. So I'll put this in as E101. And we're going to call this one 01 Lighting Plan. And then I'll click OK. I'm going to create a few more sheets here. So I'm going to, this time to create a new sheet, right click on Sheets All and select New Sheet here. Once again, I'll use the 30 by 42 template. And for this one, I'm going to rename it. And I'm going to number this one E-104. And I will name it 01 Power Plan. Once again, we can see the title block update. I could, of course, continue creating new sheets for all of the different views that I need to document in this project. In the interest of time, I will move on to placing some views. I'm going to return to my 01 lighting plan. And what I would like to do is to create some duplicate views of just the wings of the classrooms. So to do that, I will right click on 01 lighting plan here in my browser. And I will choose to duplicate the view as a dependent. As you can see, I've got a new dependent view that's placed underneath the original. I'm going to rename this one by just clicking 2 times slowly here. And I'm going to call this one 01 Lighting Plan North Wing. I'm going to duplicate the original lighting plan once again as a dependent. Then I'm going to rename this one 01 Lighting Plan South Wing. Next, I'm going to modify the crop regions for each of these to show just those wings. So here in the north wing, I'll select my crop region and I will drag these in until I'm only able to see the north wing. Next, I'll do the same thing for the south wing, this time cropping to only show the south wing. Now I can place these views onto a sheet. I'm going to activate my earlier created E101-01 lighting plan. Then from my project browser, I'm simply going to drag and drop these views onto the sheet. Notice that the cropping region appears around the outside. If I don't want those to appear, I can return back to the views themselves and then use my view control bar down here to hide my crop regions. Now as I return to the sheet, I can see that those outlines are gone. We can also see that the labels were created and the scales of the views themselves were created. Next, I'm going to activate my power plan sheet. And I'm just simply going to drag the 01 electrical room view onto the sheet. Once again, the cropping region appears. Another method I could use for fixing this is I can actually activate the view in place. I'll double click on the viewport. I've now made this view active, and I can go ahead and turn off its crop region, then double click outside of the view to return to the sheet. If for some reason I needed to move my view label, I can simply select it and click and drag to move it. If you needed to resize the view label itself, you actually have to select the view, and that will open up the little dot down here on the right side to drag to resize it. That concludes this look at creating construction documents for MEP projects in Autodesk Revit.